welcome to the River stage again. River Emajõgi behind us, and we have a cool guest here coming from company called Go Work a Bit, and is a head of marketing of that company. And Ryan, could you introduce yourself for a while? And then we have two colleagues from Singapore as well. I will introduce you later. So it's a combination, that type of talk show here. Right.
Yeah, it's nice to be in Tartu for a while. I'm Ryan. My background is in journalism, media, and marketing, and I'm a huge fan of remote work. So I guess Go Work a Bit is like a dream job for me to innovate how, or help to innovate how people actually choose their work and to build up their career.
Okay, and then we have two colleagues from Singapore. We have Colonel Chopra again. Chopra, are you there?
Yeah, very much, yeah.
Okay, and then we have Mr. Jan Lambers. Jan, can you hear us? Nice meeting you. So guys, we have a talk around the future of work and skills, and you are looking at this topic from different perspectives. I would start with Confucius saying that if you find a job you like, you don't have to work at all in your life. Have you found that type of job by now?
Me for sure, absolutely, because my job is to help others to get their dream job. So what else you can dream in a career and professional life?
What about you, Jan?
Yeah, I think so. Because I couldn't find the job that I liked. I invented my own job and I started my own company. So I'm pretty much in line with what I'm doing, yes.
And Chopra, what about your career? Has it been like what you dreamed?
I mean, when I reflect back on the jobs that I've done, I'm very grateful. It's really been all the jobs that I've done. I have greatly kind of felt passionate about, and I've grown from it, and it's also provided me with a lot of what I have today and who I've become. So absolutely, I am very happy with the path that I've taken.
Chopra, is it normal that you start from a professional career? You were in the Navy, Singapore Navy, and then you went to education to share your knowledge with others.
Yeah, well, in my case, it happened that way because in part of my naval career, I spent a lot of time in the education of naval officers and others. So for me, it was a natural progression. My last appointment in the Navy before I left, I commanded the Naval Officers Advanced School, which trained officers from junior to commanding officers of ships. And so it was very natural for me then to, from there, move into the university environment when I joined Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy.
Okay, Jan, you are running a company called Epitome, and it's called a Talent, Technology and Services Company. What it is exactly, what are you doing?
Yeah, so we basically are a lifelong learning company which leverages on data and analytics to help individuals to find purpose in their life, to be the epitome of themselves. So one of the things is we try to bridge the gap between education and employability. We are trying to embed a life over time to lifelong employability, because we are pushing our kids through an education system, but we don't know what job is going to be at the end of their education career. So how do you prepare them with a lifelong learning mindset? So they have to reinvent them several times and probably switch career multiple times so that they are prepared for the future. So we do that for individuals, but also we help companies to transform for the future of work. Like a bank is not a bank anymore. A bank is now actually an IT company. How do you transform your workforce? And then we help governments by giving them data-driven policy-changing decisions based on the data that we share with them in a nutshell.
And as a result of this COVID crisis, do you see more work on the table or less?
No, way more.
And where it comes?
It's now quite unbelievable, because I think because of COVID, one of the things that we saw in the beginning, there was this really big panic and unemployment rates were going up across the world. In Singapore, we were at the highest unemployment rate in the last 15 years. In Malaysia, it was bad. In my home country, Belgium, it's still pretty bad. And we realized during the COVID that the mismatch of skills, something that we have been talking about since the last 5 years, really and truly became a reality. There is no denying to it anymore. And then the other thing also that got crystallized because of the entire pandemic is that the solution to the mismatch of skills is not sending everybody to an online course. We have to really look into the individual mindset. We have to find out what the person likes, how the person learns, what he wants to achieve in life. So we had quite a bit of worried countries, like how do we fix graduate unemployment? How do you put somebody in a career that has worked 45 years as a blue-collar worker, and how do you translate this experience into skills of the future? So it's been a pretty amazing ride in the last few months, where we have been helping to decrease unemployment on a national level in several countries.
Ryan, how the COVID crisis has forced your company to change, or are you doing the same things? People are doing now more of that type of part-time work, or how things are going?
Not only my company, I think if there is something we have learned in previous 1.5 or 2 years, it's the way how we work and the way we need to be always ready to change our perspectives and attitudes and locations. And in that sense, we are doing all good, but there are still too many companies in Estonia who are still coping with it, and they still need to build up and change their process, how they see the employers and people in general and the talents.
Okay, we'll talk about the companies and managers' perspective later, but from a worker's perspective, the company you're running or you are running is related to part-time work, or it's bits and pieces of work.
Absolutely.
Are people do it now more, and why they are doing it?
Well, the first principle is that in our case, people always have a right to choose whether they want to work and when they want to work. And of course, when we saw this beautiful summer period of time in Estonia, where all the restrictions were loosened up a bit and it was like a nice time, then it dropped a bit because people had more choices to spend their time. And now, as everybody are, trying to fill up their year-end budget already, and they are like making plans for the new year, it gets back on track again. And of course, it changes all the time, because during the summer, a lot of underage people who didn't go to school had a possibility to work, and now they are all back to school. So September is like a switching month of how the work has been done.
But is it that they're doing this type of bits and pieces of work because they want to earn something, or they want to make their life more interesting? They have different competencies and then they can sell them. What is the major driver behind this?
It's in so many layers, actually. The motivation of taking work bites is quite diverse. And of course, we all understand that when we do work, we earn money. And this is, for some people, it's something what they specifically want to do, or they need to do because they need some extra money. And for some people, it's just an extra possibility to save some money, to collect some money for something bigger, for a holiday, for a new car or whatever payment they need to have in the future. And but more and more, if I read the feedback from the workbiters, it's so great to see that they say, like, I had such a great day. It was so interesting experience for me, and I met like new people I wouldn't meet anyways in any other place, not in a dating apps, but I met them in real in my workbite job. So I guess the motivation of find new ways of expressing yourself is something which we will see not only this year and at the end of the year, but in upcoming years more and more.
But which type of jobs are offered there? Is University of Tartu offering something, or I don't know, City of Tartu, or?
I don't know, Tartu. I don't have the database in front of me, but we have more than 10,000 work bites every day. So it's all across Estonia in very, very different positions, from very simple work which needs to be done, as we know, like cleaning dishes in the restaurants or cleaning the streets. But there are also a lot of specialist and more coming creative jobs as well, because also creative people, you know, don't want to get bored and they want to expand their networking or network of contacts. So it's very diverse. And of course, when we are traditionally talking about work bites, then people might think like it's just for like simple work. It's not. There are so many choice, and like when you go through the listing, I think everybody could find at least 5 or 10 bites you could even go and do tomorrow, and you would enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm enjoying it here as well.
Absolutely.
Which is also my part-time job, actually. Working for the University
Work bite.
Exactly, work bite at the University of Tartu School of Economics and Business Administration, or now Delta Management School. If we're talking about work skills, or the future work skills, I have a list here. It's written by Institute of Future Studies, and I read them. It's sense-making, social intelligence, novel and adaptive thinking, cross-cultural and cross-scientific competencies, computational thinking or algorithmic thinking, new media literacy, transdisciplinary, design mindset, cognitive load management, virtual collaboration.
Sounds like super people.
Exactly, but all these skills are something which are not taught at school, actually. Because we are studying mathematics, we are studying bookkeeping, we are studying different disciplines, but not this type of social skills. And as we know, in the US, 1/3 of the population is now freelancers. They at least partly do part-time work as well, in addition. So how ready are people for this type of part-time job? Do they have all these skills? And if they don't, where to get these skills?
Well, it is very difficult to generalize how ready people are, but the people who actually do the work bites as well as we see from our own platform, then the more they do it, the more they understand which kind of new skills they need. And even if you go for to work for a supermarket as doing a very, very simple work task there, you need social skills because that's a social environment. So when you spend your day there, you go home and you come to the solution like, oh yes, I actually need to improve my social skills because I would need to talk to random people in the shop. So I have also read, I don't have the reference here at the moment, but some smart guy said like for the future career, you need at least 3 very strong talents, and then you put them together and you become a unique worker for this area of a field of work or for a specific company. So I think it's like time to say let's stop putting this work pieces or professions into pillars of easy, medium and hard. Every work needs different skills, and the more we have technology coming into the companies, onto the streets, of course, we like every position needs a lot of skills.
Jan and Chopra, how is the situation in Singapore with this? How much people are doing part-time work or project-based work? How many of people in Singapore are freelancers, and what about the skills? Are the skill set fine for them, that type of job or not?
So Jan, I think Jan, you will be the best because Jan, we all know the why. We all know the problems. We all know the issues that need to be managed. But Jan and I, when we've been talking about this since 2016, and Jan knows the how. He knows how to get the why answered and how to get it done. The why not, the can do, the must do, the will do, and it's done. And that's what he's right now doing with various government agencies in Singapore. So Jan, I think you would be the best to talk about this because you've got real ground experience day to day tackling this challenge.
So what you were addressing, all those skills, most of them soft skills or 21st century skills, we did that with the employers here as well. And when employers were hiring here, when we asked them, what's the most important traits that you want to see in your future talent? They were like, oh, they need to be problem solvers, they need to be good communicators, they need to be good team workers. And we were like, what about the skills? What about the degree? I know that one we will take care of ourselves. So then we started basically building like this career exploration module where we put all the talents through. And through that career exploration model, we did some profiling, we did some assessments, but basically it was not for the employer that we did it for the users themselves. So they got to know themselves better. So they got to know themselves, hey, these are my traits, or I'm an introvert or an extrovert. Super micro right now. I like detailed work or I don't like detailed work. So you get to know yourself. And this is where we then like said like, hey, based on your mindset, based on who you are, based on how you learn, based on your values, your interests and your preferences, these are certain career plans or certain jobs, be it gig work or non-gig work, that really fit you. Because if you can find out what motivates you, because motivation has a direct correlation to performance of work. I think was the first line you said when you kicked off the session, like work that doesn't feel like work is the best thing that you can achieve, right? And that is what we have been doing on a macro level. And at that moment, we started to see really interesting things. Like, for example, one of the statistics that we saw here in ASEAN, and ASEAN has around 600 million people, 10 countries, 10 different languages. We found out that only 20% of the graduates are in alignment with their career choice. So what does that mean? The government is expecting 100 engineers to come out of school. No, actually, there's only 20 engineers come out of school. All those other 80, they need to have some intervention point. They became an engineer because their parents wanted them to be an engineer. They became an engineer because they followed their best friend to engineering school, but they really didn't enjoy the studies that they did for the past 4 years. So they need some intervention point, whether it is talk to a coach, whether it is to do some smart upskilling, whether it is to do an internship to get to know the job better. And that's how we need to start moving that needle. Like, because the higher the alignment number, the better you are in control of your own career and what you like. And also the government knows then how to do the workforce planning for the future. So now we're starting to do that from young age, where you have to like create opportunities for kids to start learning about robotics, start learning about drone technology, getting to know themselves better so they can see like, oh, this is something that I like. So we can actually give them opportunities and paths where they say like, okay, this is something that I would love to do. Because we do have to realize our kids will have to invent their own job, right? They will go to an education system and we don't even know what job is going to be there at the end. So the only thing that we should be teaching our kids is like this lifelong learning mindset with a goal or an achievement towards lifelong employability. So the gig economy is becoming a really big part here, and it's going to be extremely important. We are bringing in rural people that suddenly through internet and through a simple phone can do some gig work online and make an alternative income. We have the sharing economy, from the Grab cars to the cars, Uber-ish platforms and delivery platforms, where just students can do some work whenever they want it, and they get paid on a weekly basis, which is very important for young people these days, so they can buy mobile cards to play games on their phones. So we becoming a recognized economy here, which it wasn't 2 years ago. So the shift is immense right now, but I think we have to equip our own kids now to learn about themselves, so they know what project or what job they want to do in the future.
Okay, we have been talking now from work as an employee's perspective, but if we move towards employers, and from a company's perspective, from an entrepreneur's perspective, from a leader's perspective, how that COVID situation, now we have more and more virtual organizations, how it has affected the management job. Are the managers ready for this? What are your comments about it from a company's perspective?
Luckily, we see that there are companies who had to be ready for it. Like they had to make the mind shift basically overnight, and they survived. And they discovered that, wow, it's actually a good way to go. But of course, what has changed more and more is like companies traditionally kind of had the mindset that when you sign the contract, then I own you for this unknown period of time. but people don't buy it anymore, and they have so much choice to do, and so many ways to build up their career in a way that maybe on Mondays I do a work which is physical, and maybe on Tuesdays I do work which is mental, and so on, or spiritual. So I think this kind of mindset is slowly changing as well, that companies do not own people, but people own their rights to choose. And this gives like a push for the companies to also change the working rhythm and system within the company. And of course, it's not easy, it's not simple, it's not quick, but also I say that if we learn something from this previous COVID year, then this is something what will happen, and people have understood like the world does not end if they are in charge of their own careers.
I have a brother who is brother Preet, who is 7 years younger than me, and he's an IT guy, and he says that I'm not working on Fridays. So I don't care what I think.
Absolutely,
I'm not working on
yes.
Fridays, and that's it. So, and if you're signing agreements with people, exactly the same. That they will work for 3 days, and they would work for many different employers. And from a management's perspective, one question is, of course, how you lead them. The other is how you develop corporate culture. If you have this type of freelancers who are sometimes working for you, but sometimes working for your competitor, perhaps, and what you would suggest to managers?
Build up a company where you would like to work as well. And this is a very simple rule. If you build up the culture of your business, the way how people communicate, interact with each other, the way you maybe measure results, not just buying time of the person, and so on and so on. And sometimes it's very small thing, like the way you greet people in the morning. Or the way you get the feedback from the people who are working for you, but build up a culture where you actually happily want to go and work yourself, and then you see the shift is coming, because even if the person has a choice, he or she always have a choice to work for you, and you are responsible as a manager to make it happen.
How is the situation in Singapore, Jan? You have big corporations as well, which have big buildings. What is the role of these big buildings now? Are they empty?
I think, like we are still in some parts here in Asia, still in lockdown. And I think the biggest thing was with the employers was a little bit like, how do we control our workforce? We don't see them from 9 to 5 in the office anymore. How do we know they're working? And I think that was a big thing, because we heard a lot of companies complain that their productivity dropped with 30% or 35%. I was like, I don't think that is actually possible, because we have been working remote since the inception of our company, so we know it's possible. So then it's about the employer that needs to start trusting his people. And you are home, so the 9 to 5 scale doesn't really work anymore. So there is a lot of trust that you need to put in your employees, but you will get that paid back over time anyway, because if you make them feel that they're not in a job, they will clock more hours, they will do even more their best. So I think, but in the beginning, it was quite a big shift, and we didn't really know how to handle it, because we were so used for decades now that you clock in at 9 o'clock and at 5 o'clock you go home, and that is working. So that is now completely redefined. And I think now the acceptance is here. Just actually 2 days ago here in Singapore, we have Chopra wave number 7. I don't know, the COVID wave number 7. And so immediately there was a few things. All the primary kids are doing home-based learning. All the offices are advised that all the employees work from home. So it became a norm here. It's like perfectly accepted at this moment. But in the beginning, there was a huge issue of trust, both ways, from the employees towards the employers. So, but I think it's getting better now, and it's becoming a norm.
And I just want to bring back the point which was discussed earlier on. While skills are important, the matching of skills, it's equally, in fact, some people say now even more important, because you cannot literally observe your people. the matching of values and the matching of attitudes and the matching of trust has now become even more amplified, which is why when even the selection of who should work for who, the data around how that matching can be done is far more amplified when you are not working from the office. And so there needs to have this kind of a supporting ecosystem, supporting assessment systems, supporting data that allows for that to happen so that the success of that working relationship is heightened.
But Chopra, what about changes in the force structures? The military, the police, is the life similar after COVID, or do we have changes as well in management structures, in philosophies, how we run a military?
There are changes with regards to the level of interaction, but has been managed in such a way that the operational efficiency, i.e. if the ship has to sail and do its job, how the crew come on board, how the checks are done to make sure that if there is any potential infection, there will be none. All those measures have been put in place. So the operational efficiency is still there, but certainly the amount of interaction that the armed forces usually has, which is very, very people-centric and a lot more, has reduced.
Okay, now here we are sitting next to the university. What we can say to the university, how the university side or school side should change its curriculums perhaps to make people more ready for this type of part-time work and also to make managers more ready or leaders more ready for this type of virtual organizations. If there would be a suggestion, what would it be? Let's say, Ryan, from you.
For me, actually, it's very interesting because we had this discussion just yesterday in the evening for dinner, and I would suggest that that if universities, whatever is the subject of what you learn, if job biting is part of your practical work, and every position or subject you study in the university has some different layers of practicalities you need to exercise. Is it communication? Is it handwork? Is it discussion? Is it whatever? So we were just kind of having this wonderful idea that if every student in Estonian university should do 100 work bites in a year, then first they could get exceptional practice of whatever they're studying. They build up their new network and safety net in a way to enter the job market actually, and all the job which needs to be done in Estonia, and there is like a lot of job which nobody wants to do at the moment, but should be done, will be done. So there is just so many positive sides of that. So this is my suggestion. Just go, try, and see how you like it, and don't skip in this one narrow corridor of your career. Just widen up.
And in addition to job, you see the social side of life as well.
Absolutely.
From different angles.
This is so important. You network, communicate, make friends. You need them in your career.
Yeah, so it is. But from the Singapore side, Chopra, what would you suggest for universities?
Actually, my friends tell me that the level of case study work, workshops, breakout rooms, discussions has increased. The normal, traditional professor standing at the rostrum or at the stage in front of the class and giving lectures, because this is not so effective when you are working or studying using online, they are now realizing that it's better to, and it actually facilitates all these breakout discussions. So the technology is actually making life on online a little bit more interactive and quick and more efficient. So in that regard, we all know that doing a case is usually far more effective than listening to a lecture. That's a given. Most people will agree with that. And so when you see the trend of interaction through these kind of strategies, actually it's not bad. And I think this is driving more effective learning. Albeit, yes, it's very important to have the physical contact. It's very important to have the social contact, which I'm sure when this becomes it will normalize. And I think we are in for a better outcome.
Does it mean that we should start rebuilding the campus areas and office buildings to have more of this garage type of rooms?
Well, we'll certainly have to find alternative ways to make use of what has already been built so that they don't become white elephants.
Okay, Jan, what do you think? What you would suggest to universities to respond to changes on the labor market?
Yeah, I think the one thing, if I would be in a university, I would totally invest heavier in my entire alumni network, because we have to realize, and the universities also have to realize, that we're gonna go through such a fast change of job scene in the next coming years, even faster than we signed in the last 2 years. So that a university becoming this lifelong learning organization where you as an alumni can always come back. Like, for example, you're producing accountants, you let them come back and you help them with one course and then they will become data scientists. You let web developers come back and you merge them into blockchain engineers. I'm just saying a few things here with some really precise upskilling, so you keep your entire workforce, not just the talents, but the whole spectrum of your workforce up to date. So I think that alumni part, which is already very well catered with most universities, but that is going to become a crucial role to just keep the future talents that come out of your universities, to keep them relevant for their next career and for their next steps into their career. Because the youngsters that we see now, they will have to do 6, 7 major career switches in their life. And who is better than the university to help at that moment? With micro courses and micro credentials, not 3-year programs. I'm talking about 3 weeks or 3 months programs.
Actually, the Delta Center we're currently sitting is it is a bit of experimental unit for the University of Tartu as well. It's a huge center, Delta Center. We have like 3,200 students, researchers, R&D workers. We even have a separate corporate R&D building. And we have 4 institutes here. We have computer science, we have technology and robotics, we have economics and business administration, and then we have math and statistics. But yes, and we're saying that it's a Delta community. Not only the people who are sitting or studying here, but also people who are passing it through, whether they're walking through or they are taking part of any of the different events. For example, this event today is as well, it's not a study program per se, but it's partly a study program. And actually students are volunteers here, the different institutes are engaged, our social partners from different countries, as you see, are on board. So this is something which is part of renewing the university and its form. And it's what I have kind of, I have a feeling that, I mean, historically there was, first it was a science push. I mean, we know something in the university or at the university, and this is kind of push the knowledge to the market, but it's like co-discovery is something which is something what we are talking about today. And there are endless amount of forms for this. I mean, it's not only agreement we are signing with a business. I mean, agreement is perhaps like the cherry on the cake, but there are hundreds of ways of cooperating under that cherry, and which are much less formal and much more, as you said, alumni related and so forth. But we have run out of time. I have a final question to Rain. You have studied, as I know, journalism and social work. And now you are running or supporting an organization which is dealing with work a bit of this work bites. Which of education has been more useful for this?
I think I'm just the best example of how to build up your unique career. I think both, and I have been studying even more different, like bite-size subjects, but you combine social work and journalism and media experience into marketing in a way that help people to find their own way, which is stronger, better. And I remember, or I remind you that working is not earning money. Working is self-expression in a lifelong way. So this is very unique combination for me, and I just enjoy that to take the strength out of both of them.
So my last short question, if you would now go back to the university, whether you would go back first, and second, if you would study something, what you would study?
Well, I kind of went back to university because I'm now studying as a personal trainer. So this will be my like a third career, I think, a combination with everything else. But I'm quite sure that I will end up in an official university building one day again. Is it studying, teaching? Who knows? All the possibilities up there.
Life is a journey, yes, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But Jan, what would you study? And whether you would study in Singapore or in Belgium, where are you from?
I don't know actually. You know, I am a really failure of the education system. I really tried, but I just didn't see it. Like I really did my best in school, but I didn't see what the impact was for me, because I could make a startup and have a successful company quite a few times. But I think if I would do something, I would go to a vocational university or polytechnic, and I would learn a skill like electricity or something like that. I don't think I would go in a deep material. So it's something you can always fall back on. But I would always think about, you know, the reason why I started this company was because I was so upset. I was trying to find a job, but I couldn't find a job because I didn't have a degree. And I was like, how is that possible? I have 15 years experience into my previous company, which I grew and all that, but I couldn't get a job because I didn't have a degree. So people were measuring me over a degree, not over the skills and whatever I had learned over the past few years, because I knew way more than somebody that basically fresh came out of university at that moment. And that's the reason why I started this company, where we can actually, rank people, and that's a completely wrong word, but we give a chance to people based on the skills that they know instead of the degree that they have, because actually the degree shouldn't be counting that much anymore over time, because we will have flexible degrees over time. So I guess I don't think I will go to university again. I think I'm quite happy with how it turned out.
Okay, thanks, Jan. And finally, Colonel Chopra, would you go to Singapore University of Technology and Design, I don't know, Singapore Management School, or where you would go if you would be, I don't know, 18 now?
Look, I don't want to go back into 18 at my age now. I'd rather do short courses, and I'd rather do courses, go back into philosophy, psychology and stuff like that. I think I've got the skill sets to basically do and learn with regards to running a company and investing and etc. But if I had an opportunity, I would spend some time into philosophy and psychology, personal interest.
Okay, guys, thanks for joining us. Our talk show is now over. It's kind of 1:18 p.m. Estonian time. We will have a lunchtime now for 42 minutes, and we are coming back at 2 o'clock Estonian time. So thanks for joining us. It's Delta Trends Day, and please come back at 2 o'clock. Thanks a lot, guys.
Bye, Art. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Jan.